Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid-August 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the bulls, the Taurus collective? Energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus. Let's get this first card out nice and quick. What's the vibe? What's the energy for our good friends? There we go. Thank you. Nice and quick. Okay, lead the way. This feels like the Fool card to me, which can be really good. And it's something I picked up, I think, specifically in the Capricorn reading, where there's a big future focus here. To me, it does feel optimistic. So I feel like that's going to be pretty nice for you, especially with Fool card energy. It can be a little lighthearted, which I think we're starting off on a pretty good foot. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the August subscriber surprise towards the end. So you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye. You know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo. Back into the reading. Let's talk about the card. So again, we're going more intuitive with this. See Alice, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in that card and leading the way. Now, for some of you, maybe you're just in a future focused mindset where it's like, you know, this is where I'm going. This is what I want to do. These are what my plans are. It's like I'm building towards the future, which could be really nice. This could also represent taking charge in a situation. So for some of you, there might be a situation you're dealing with where, hey, maybe your example or your leadership or your ability to direct things are very important. So again, we have that future focus and grabbing the bull by the horns, no pun intended. But yeah, it is giving me that Fool card type of vibe. So I'm not sure whether it's you on that cusp of Aries or maybe you're dealing with an Aries. When I see the Fool, I think of fresh, I think of new, I think of adventures. But there is a downside to the Fool. Sometimes it can be a little too spontaneous. So in this time, watch out for being too spontaneous. I would say that's like the warning I could pull from this. But other than that, we are looking pretty good. We're just going to let it chill over there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Taurus, please, in early to mid-August. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. I'd say for the last couple of weeks, there's been a pretty refreshing energy coming in towards Taurus. Last week's reading was titled A Massive Offer. So again, whether it was work-related, whether it was emotional and like speaking, like an emotional offer of some kind, I felt a lot of good energy moving your direction and coming your way. So again, if that didn't happen yet, it could still pop up. Keep that in mind because sometimes the energy could bleed over for a few weeks. But we're going to see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going here. 3 cards to start. What do we have for Taurus, please? Thank you. Queen of Wands. Nice. Confidence. I like it. And you're getting a lot of fire, especially with that very first oracle where I was getting Aries energy. Now you have the Queen of Wands. This could be good. Let's get a couple more. Huge card of self-confidence, or how one looks at themselves. Okay, I mean, 10 of Cups. I'm going to really try my best to stay as grounded and neutral as possible, but we are off to a good start. Let's get one more. Okay. 4 Cups. Yeah, so maybe for some of you, your mindset is very important. A lot of this energy seems like it can work really well with you. So again, whatever it is you're dealing with, your mindset or how you view things, your perspective are extremely, extremely important. Let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know, I always look at the elements first because it gives us a lot of hints and cues. There's a lot of water here, right? So we have the 10 of Cups, the 4 of Cups. Water is the realm of feelings and emotion. I've been seeing that for all earth signs this week. So again, maybe you're a little more sentimental than you normally are. Maybe your feelings are a little more intense than they usually are. Nothing wrong with all that. There is a lot of cerebral action going on here too. The cups could be very creative. They could be very expressive, and they can be a really good sign. The only downside to all this water is that it can be a little too intense sometimes, where it's like, okay, that's a little too much water. But being a powerful earth sign like you are, you vibe well with all this water. We do also have fire here with the Queen of Wands. So that's the realm of action, movement, the things that we do, the passion, drive, desire. So at least on the top, I'm cautiously optimistic about the energy we're looking at. I mean, unless you're tied to a fire sign, but we'll talk about that a little more in depth. And the fact that we have all this water, this internal energy, and we have a queen, also internal energy. There's a lot going on the inside. So let's go through this and start building it out piece by piece. Position number one, we are starting with the Queen of Wands. So again, fire sign energy, whether it's an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Remember, it's not always gender specific, so you might be connected to a fire sign. If that's not the case, I already mentioned queens are the internal aspect of the suit. So when I was speaking about passion, drive, desire, taking action, this Queen of Wands is all about it. When I see her, I think of how one views themselves, self concept, self confidence, how bold you are, how bold you might act. So again, I always say this is like beautiful, sexy, confident. Love the Queen of Wands. If this isn't another person you're connected to, but the downside to her, sometimes, especially if she's flipped in reverse, she could doubt herself, or she can doubt somebody else. So there might be certain things, situations that you might be questioning. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially with the Queen of Wands here. Maybe it's a good thing to question stuff in this time. So we will look at her further. I mean, for some of you, if you've been a little down lately, the Queen of Wands is like a bounce back type of energy, which can be really, really nice. Now, moving to the middle, we have one of the best cards in the whole entire deck, right? If you watch tarot, I'm sure you know about it. The Ten of Cups is beautiful, chef's kiss type of energy. And we see it here. There's the happy family. They're all gathered together. There's a rainbow up in the sky, 10 cups going across it there. They have everything they need, right? They're happy. They're content. They're in their happy place, right? It's a beautiful bubble that they've built for themselves. So to me, I see this card, I think of wins and blessings and victories of all different kinds. I think of so much abundance, cup runneth over type of energy, big wish fulfillment. So I love this. It could also represent the family, so family members, living situations, property. Like tens usually connect to those things as well. So you might have things going on in that realm, but if that's not the case, the Ten of Cups is usually awesome. But what's the downside? When we flip the Ten of Cups in reverse, it could either represent losing something that made you very happy, or intense, very hyper intense emotion, right? Because when you turn these 10 cups upside down, it's like a waterfall of energy. So we'll look at it. We'll walk carefully through the rest of this reading. And I'm not necessarily saying that's going to be the case. I'm just trying to give you both sides of the coin, especially if you've been feeling things a little intense lately, more so than normal. Now, moving to the back end, we have the Four of Cups. Think, 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 right? We have our friend here. She's sitting under a tree. Looks like she's taking a nap, having a little snooze. The universe is holding out a cup to her, and she's either not paying attention or doesn't see it. So maybe this is spirit saying like, hey, Taurus, maybe there's something you're not seeing. Maybe spirit's asking you to be a little more observant. Again, I'm not trying to come at you or anything like that. This card could just be daydreaming, imagining, fantasizing. It's all about the mindset. So when I see these confident cards and the Ten of Cups and the Four of Cups, that's why I was saying like where you put your focus, where you put your intention, your manifestation and creative powers are extremely, extremely important, especially with the Four of Cups and especially in this time, because thoughts become things. That's my view on it, at least. Now, the downside, I mean, the upside of this, it's like just very creative. Sometimes this could represent taking a little break, recuperating, so not rushing things. But the downside of the Four of Cups, it could be someone that is trapped in their head, overthinking, stressed, nervous, in its most rough side for sure. I mean, yeah, maybe you're just doing a lot more thinking than you normally do. But I want to dive deeper on all of it, Taurus. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for our friends? Please. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on this Queen of Wands. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Taurus, drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Queen of Wands, talk to me. Why are you here? All right, so I did mention it a little bit, and I'm not saying this is definitely you, but I do have the Nine of Swords in the upright underneath this Queen of Wands. So again, this might be someone you're connected to, or they're just like running themselves ragged or putting themselves through the ringer. You don't need to be an expert to understand what that Nine of Swords represents, right? It's a lot of the downside of what I saw here with the Four of Cups. So maybe this is someone else's energy, and maybe that's your energy, right? It could show. We're going to have to finish the reading to see. But you see the Nine of Swords, he's like losing sleep. Um, so for some of you, this could be a message where Spirit wants you to recharge your batteries, watch your energy levels. I know Tauruses usually like to stay busy, busy, busy. So when I see the Queen of Wands, Nine of Swords, maybe it's Spirit just telling you you need a little break, or you might need to recharge the battery. But there could also be someone with the fire air combo where it is just super nervous, super on edge. There is also this underlying energy of self doubt. Okay, so for some of you, maybe there's a situation or something you're dealing with, and maybe you should give yourself the benefit of the doubt, or maybe you should think in your favor, because this is somebody doubting. There's a lot of doubt here. Okay, and again, I'm not saying it's you. It's just very unsure about what way to go and what to do next. Now, again, this doesn't frame the whole entire reading. I don't want to say that. I don't want you to think like the whole reading sunk now because the energy seems wound tight and nervous. We still have some good stuff here. That's what I want to point out. It does feel a little bit more like a mixed bag than what I've been seeing in recent weeks. But yeah, this Nine of Swords, Queen of Wands, very simple, straightforward. It's either doubt, self doubt, or just that nervous, anxious energy. And again, it doesn't have to be you, it could be someone else, and they can't quite help it. But let's see what's up with the Ten of Cups. We're just going to keep it moving along here. So interesting that we started with so much water and now we're getting into the mental realm here. So let's see what's up with the 10, please. How's the Ten of Cups here? Okay. Lovers in reverse, huh? Big Gemini energy. Okay. So this is something I want to say, and I feel like for a lot of you, it is more of an advice. Wherever you are on the spectrum, some of you, you're probably comfy cozy. Some of you, maybe some great stuff is happening. Maybe some of you are in a bit of a rough spot. Totally cool. But when I see the Ten of Cups with the Lovers in reverse, this is strong spiritual protection that I want to reinforce and let you know about. Someone on the spirit side's watching your back, which is a good thing. But this can also represent, I don't want to say ignoring the negative, but to me, it's like focus on the positive. Keep yourself positive. Keep your head on, like, screwed on tight, and just focus on the good, even if like the 3D reality is showing you opposite. And I know it's very specific, but when I see the Ten of Cups and the Lovers in reverse, it's like, all right, well, you could have this perspective and see that everything is working for you and unfolding for you, or you could look at it this way and say, doubt, I'm self doubting, like we saw here. So I think, given the choice and the opportunity, I would just try your best to keep the thoughts positive and always assume the best. Don't assume the negative for yourself. Um, I'm not trying to give you a pep talk. I'm not trying to give you like advice that you have to follow. But when I see the Ten of Cups and the Lovers in reverse, it's like I'm happy, but I'm not. Or should I focus on this, or should I focus on that? I feel like you need to focus on the good. Okay, regardless of what's going on. So even if you're in a good, solid, stable place right now, keep it up. Keep focusing on those wins. Keep focusing on the good stuff. If you're not, if you're here, still focus on that. So we're just going to keep going. You would be surprised what a shift in mindset would do. So let's go in on the Four Cups. A shift in perspective and how you view things. Are things working against you, or are they working for you? It's really a matter of perspective. But let's see what's up with the Four Cups. What is going on with the Four Cups? Then we'll do our quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the Four Cups here? Thank you. It's a little bit of a battle. It's like an internal battle. So we have the Seven of Wands in the upright underneath the Four Cups. It's like someone who's in a battle with their own mind. Um, and we saw it there in the front, right? It makes total sense. So to me, it's a couple different things. The Seven of Wands could sometimes be an energy that's trapped. So it's an energy where it's like, I'm trapped in my own thoughts, trapped in my own brain, um, my own worst enemy type of energy potentially, where it's like, all right, well, you could be your own best ally, or you could be your worst enemy. There's like a really strong uh, split in how someone approaches something. So it's like, are you gonna lay down, or are you going to fight? It's giving me this kind of vibe. Are you going to focus on the best and focus on the good, or are you going to focus on the worst? I mean, it's a choice, right? Now, again, I'm not saying it's you. It could be somebody you're connected to where they're going through an internal battle or an internal struggle, just like we were seeing up here, the stress, anxious, nervous type of energy. And it could be more complex internal than what it appears on the outside, that's for sure. The Seven of Wands can also be very determined. So that's something I want to continue to say without trying to sound like a self help talk individual. I think it's super, super important that no matter what you're going through, that you hold on to a positive outlook. Got to hold on to it, no matter what the reality shows you, no matter what's going on, because that's going to help you moving forward. It's just going to. When we see this here on the back end, yeah, it could be a bit problematic, especially with an energy that seems to be trapped in its head. And I always say your mind can be your own personal heaven, but it can also be hell, right? Depending on where your focus is. So let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. And another thing I want to mention, Taurus, is this energy presented way different than I normally get for you. So this could very well be somebody else. Position number one, Queen of Wands, Nine of Swords. So to me, anxious, nervous, we already talked about that. A lot of self-doubt, a lot of second guessing showing up here. For some of you, this could just be a little hint from spirit saying like, hey, Taurus, maybe you need a little rest. If you've been, busy, a lot on your plate, maybe you just need a little time to rest and recuperate. But there is someone here, the energy is just through the roof. Moving to the center, we have the Ten of Cups with the Lovers in reverse. Yes, there's strong spiritual protection here that spirit wanted me to continue to express to you. But the biggest thing I saw here is like it's all in the eye of the beholder. That spirit wants you to continue or try your best to keep that optimistic mindset, regardless of what's going on, because that's going to serve you the best. You could focus on the best and feel like everything's working in your benefit, or you could focus on the problem at hand and feel like the world is working against you. I choose this every day. I'll choose the Ten of Cups mindset no matter what's happening, all day, every day. Moving to the back end, we have the Four of Cups, Seven of Wands in the upright. Yeah, someone who's doing some internal battle, which makes sense with what we saw up here. Um, it could be a very determined mindset. So if you're determined on taking these routes we already spoke about, beautiful. But it's like someone that sometimes they could be their own worst enemy. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into these further. Let's see if it's in the shadows. All right, let's get a good shuffle here for you, Taurus. What's happening? And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. What do we got here for Taurus? Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel and have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got for Taurus? Okay, Queen of Swords. So another individual potentially showing up here. So we did have a few different zodiac signs here, but Queen of Swords rules over the air element, which is also the mind, so it makes a lot of sense. Now, the good thing about the Queen of Swords is she's honest, straightforward, and very pragmatic. Okay, so for some of you, maybe there's a situation where you need to be a little strategic about it or be very pragmatic. And remember, we had that Fool card in the very beginning, all about optimism, and we saw it within the reading itself. You could be optimistic and pragmatic at the same time. So keep that in mind. But the downside of the Queen of Swords is she could be mean, right? She could be a little harsh. She could be a little cold. So whether this is spirit warning you that like, hey, Taurus, you might be a little more edgier than you normally are, or maybe there's just someone you're dealing with where it's like if they're in Queen of Swords mode, maybe you just want to give them a little space because this energy can lash out sometimes. That's if you're not connected to an air sign. So I love the Queen of Swords honesty. I love her straightforwardness and her pragmatism, but she could sometimes be a little too cold and unfeeling. So we're just going to leave it at that, Taurus. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the August subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you'd like to have a little chat with me, you can book a personal reading with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The calendar for August is up, so you could go check out the availability over there. But for the August subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of my most favorite decks, the classic Gilded Tarot Royale. It's beautiful, and it's definitely one of my go-to decks. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, we have a very easy question this month. Out of all the tarot cards in the deck, which one is your favorite? Is it the one that attaches to your zodiac sign? Is it one where you just like the art? You can put that answer down in the comments and you will be entered to win, my friends. And as usual, the winners will be announced in the community tab at the end of the month. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.